So happy Wednesday. Welcome to yoga. Always great to have you. Today we're going to do something just a little bit different with our centering practice. Normally we do centering sitting up like so. Today we're going to be doing it laying down. So you can move anything you're sitting on off to the side, just come right down onto your back for a bit. It's good to change things up. Someday we'll start class standing. Today we're doing it laying down. And so just let yourself unfold here. Your heels can be about mat width apart, your toes flopping off to the side, your arms down by your sides, palms face up. Relaxing in. I'd like you just to become aware of your body here, as if you're becoming aware of the body for the first time today, meaning that you're stepping into it with a sense of curiosity, openness, and also lightly scanning around your body. What's going on here in your body today? You may notice the points of contact your body makes with the floor, clothing on the body, the temperature of the air on the exposed surfaces of your body. Noticing the body. Noticing where you feel comfort in your body and where you do not. Noticing where you feel tension in the body and where you do not. Aware of the parts of your body that are moving. The lungs, the heart, your digestive organs. Noticing the parts of your body that don't move. And if you find yourself still enough, you may even be able to sense your pulse at different points in the body, signifying circulation. There may be spaces in your body that your mind naturally gravitates towards. And there may be parts of your body that your mind naturally gravitates away from. There may even be parts of your body that your mind just doesn't even think to go there. The space between the toes or the tips of the toes, the insides of your fingers. So many places we just don't think about. Feel the sensation of your breath in your body, the cooling and warming in the nostrils and at your throat. Your lungs filling and emptying. And how that filling and emptying of the lungs creates movement in the greater body. When you're aware of your body like this, you find yourself here in the present moment. In this practice so far, you may notice that you're not thinking about what you were thinking about before. You may feel a reduction in anxiety, or spinning of your consciousness. And maybe not, and that's okay too. And before we move from this space, we'll do just a little bit of breath work. So find your breath, aware of the inhale and aware of the exhale. And we'll begin to even the breath out. What I mean by that is to make the length of your inhale and the length of your exhale the same. You can achieve that by counting the breath, inhaling for a certain number of counts and exhaling for an equal number of counts. An account is whatever you use for internal measurement. It could be an estimated second or the sound of a word or syllable. Just do your best. Inhaling for a certain number of counts and exhaling for an equal number of counts. Inhaling for a certain number of counts, exhaling for an equal number of counts. Continuing for just a little bit longer, breathing evenly, please. And as you complete this next even exhale, you can let go. And begin to take a deeper, fuller breath. And make some gentle movements in your body for a moment just to feel the body move. And we're going to stay on the back for the first several exercises. So you can bring your heels a bit closer together to start, arms by your sides, and then go ahead and hug your right knee into your chest. And flex both feet, pull the toes back, and just feel this gentle stretch in your hip. And then holding behind the right thigh with both hands. Inhale, extend the right heel toward the ceiling, pull the toes back. And then exhale, bend the right knee back into your chest. Good. Inhale, extend the leg toward the ceiling, reach. And exhale, bring it back in. And just do that a few more times on your own. Inhale, extending, exhale, bending, feeling the length in the back of this right leg. And as you extend the leg this time, go ahead and leave it extended. Still holding behind the thigh, take a deep breath in. With your exhale, tuck the chin in toward the throat, lift the head, then lift the shoulders as you curl up toward the knee. Stay up for the inhale. And exhale, release the head and shoulders back down. Keep the leg extended. Stay down for the inhale. And with your next exhale, again, curl the chin in toward the throat, lift yourself up, shoulders lift, and exhale, release the shoulders and head back down. Good. Again, chin to throat, forehead lifting. Exhale, release down. Last one, curl on up. And exhale, release on down. Now go ahead and bend the right knee back into your chest. Take the right knee into the left hand. Your right arm can hang out to the side. And then draw the right knee across the body toward the left side, coming into a lying twist. Good. Staying here for several breaths, just feeling this rotation in the spine. Try to allow your right arm and shoulder to hang back behind you, maybe even grounding toward the floor. Your chin could turn to the right as well if you want. And with your next inhale, carefully unwind and go ahead and extend that right leg down. And we'll repeat this exercise or a couple of exercises on the other side. So go ahead and hug your left knee in, starting here. Flex both feet, pulling the toes back. Feel the stretch in the hip. And then go ahead and hold behind the thigh with both hands. And with your next inhale, extend the left leg toward the ceiling, pull the toes back, and exhale, bring the knee back in as you bend it. Inhale, extend the leg, and exhale, bend, and just keep going. Moving on your breath, feeling the length in the back of the left leg. As we do the second side, you might notice that this hamstring feels more open, or it could be the opposite. This could feel a lot tighter on the first side, and that's okay. We have a lot of asymmetries in the body because we use the body in very specific ways, and sometimes that's not balanced between the two hemispheres of the system. Good. Extending the leg this time, go ahead and leave it extended. Pull the toes back, and then we'll do that little bit of core work here. So keep holding behind the thigh, take a deep breath in. With your exhale, go ahead and curl the chin in toward the throat. Forehead lifts up toward the knee, shoulders lift. Stay up for the inhale. And then exhale, release the shoulders and head back down. Good. Again, exhale, roll on up. And exhale, roll on down. Curling up, exhale. Stay up for the inhale. Curl down, exhale. Couple more times. Moving with your exhalations. Good. Last one. Curl on up. And curl on down. Go ahead and bring the left knee into your chest. Holding on to that left knee with the right hand, let the left arm hang out. And then draw the left knee across the body toward the floor on your right side. Good. Coming into this twist. And as you do so, the left arm and hand and shoulder can hang back behind you, maybe even grounding to the floor. You can also turn your chin to the left as well here. Good. Inhale, carefully unwind. Great. All right. So please bring both feet flat to the floor now, prepping for bridge pose, heels stacking underneath the knees, about hip width apart. And we're going to keep the arms just where they're at next to you for now. Okay? Because we're going to be doing some other specific work. So feet grounding. When you're ready, go ahead and lift the hips, pressing into bridge. And as you exhale, release the hips on down. Good. Let's do that again. Inhale, lift the hips into the air. And exhale, release them down. Deepening our awareness of this exercise, inhale, lift the hips. Now, as you exhale, you're going to roll down a single vertebrae at a time. So move slowly, articulating through the spine until the hips touch the ground. And then you're going to reverse that movement. Shrug the tailbone under, lift the hips, and roll up slowly, one vertebrae at a time. And just keep going in this, practicing this movement in this way, rolling up and down the spine and taking your time with that. You want to feel each little nub of the spine make contact with the mat and then lift up sequentially. Now, generally speaking, we're inhale lifting, exhale lowering down, but it might take you more than one breath to lift and lower, and that's okay. Inhale, rolling up. Exhale, rolling down. Couple more times. Good. Now taking your time as you roll down this time, go ahead and stay down. And once you're there, go ahead and hug your knees into your chest. Good. All right. So when you're ready, go ahead and roll to your right side and come up to hands and knees, table pose. And take your time with that transition. Hydrate if you need to. Good. So from hands and knees, I'm going to ask you to step your right foot between the hands. We're going to get into the hips a little bit here. So your hands or fingertips are on the floor here. Feel your chest lift looking forward. You can do these micro pulses with the hips. So you're going to lean forward just a little bit more into the hip and then pull back a little bit. And lean in and pull back. Leaning in, pulling back. Good. One more time. And then carefully sweep the right leg back. And we'll switch sides. Bring the left foot forward, help it forward. Hands or fingertips on the floor, really sinking into the hips here. Feel the heart lift. And again, do these little micro pulses with the hips. We know that the hips don't like to be rushed, so we try to be as gentle as we can with them. We will be doing more work with them, so this will be a nice primer to go there. Good. And then go ahead and sweep the left foot back. Let's come into child's pose for a moment. Good. And then coming up from child's pose. Now you can stay facing the way that you're facing on your mat. I just turned sideways for demonstration purposes. Still in table pose. You're going to step your right foot all the way out to the right and have the leg in line with both hip bones. So not too far forward or back, but straight out from the hip. Hands are underneath the shoulders. Ground through the pinky edge of the right foot. And then allow your tailbone to lift toward the ceiling slightly. There's a little bit of a dip for the lower back. And then keep that there and just glide backwards a little bit. You'll start to feel a stretch on the inner thigh. Good. Inhale, come back up. Keep the tailbone lifting. Exhale, gliding backwards. Inhale, back up. Exhale, gliding backwards. Inhale, back up. A couple more times. Gliding back. And this time, glide back to your furthest point, wherever that is for you, and stay there. That might not be that far, and that's okay. You're still grounding through the pinky edge of the right foot, tailbone still lifting behind you. And breathe. Good. Then inhale, come back up, and go ahead and bring that right knee back in. And we'll do the other side. So stepping your left leg straight out to the left. Again, leg is in line with the hips, not forward or back, but straight out. Hands are underneath your shoulders. Glide the shoulders down the back, lift the tailbone. Ground through the pinky edge of the left foot. There's so many cues here. But keep all that engaged as you glide backwards, feeling the stretch on the inner thigh of the left leg. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, gliding back. Inhale, back up. Exhale, gliding back. Keep the tail lifting. Inhale, rise. Exhale, gliding back. And up. Good. Couple more times. And then as you glide back this time, go ahead and stay. Keep the tailbone lifting. Keep breathing. Keep grounding through the pinky edge of the left foot. Good. Then inhale, come up and step the left knee back in. Good. We're going to come back to that first side. So when you're ready, take the right leg out. Grounding through the pinky edge, as always, hands underneath the shoulders. Good. Take a deep breath in. This time, bend the knee as you sink into the hip. So sinking to the right side. Then inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale, bend the knee, sinking in. Inhale, come back out. Exhale, sink in. And extend the leg a couple more times. Getting into the hips tonight. And as you bend the knee this time, go ahead and just hang out, stay. If for stability, you'd like to bring the hands more to the right, that's okay. Or you could keep them where they were at. It's up to you. Breathing here. Okay, go ahead and straighten the leg and bring the knee back in. Okay, feeling the hips now. Let's do the other side. Left leg straight out. Hands underneath the shoulders. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, bend the left knee. Sink in. Inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale, bend the knee, sink in. And back. Let's do just a few more. In and out. Again, not rushing the process. And then sinking into the left hip, bend that knee, stay and hang out. Again, you can walk your hands more to the left if you'd like to. Feeling that stretch in the hip. Breathing into whatever is going on for you. Okay, when you're ready, go ahead and straighten the left knee. Bring it in, and we'll come into child's pose for a moment. Good. Inhale back up to hands and knees. Please step your right foot forward again between the hands. And as you sink into the hip, hopefully it feels a little bit more accessible than before. But I'm going to ask you to bring both hands to the inside of the right foot. Okay. Now, there's a tendency here, and you can't really see it on screen, but once we have the hands on the inside, that this side knee, the right knee in this case, is going to want to track out to the right. Try to keep the foot grounded and that knee guiding more toward the midline of your mat. Okay. I know that's hard, but we'll work it out together. Good. Now, with your hands on the ground, your arms straight, take a deep breath and look forward. And as you exhale, bend your elbows, bringing the chest down as far as you can. That doesn't have to be too far. Then inhale, straighten the arms, look forward. And exhale, bend the elbows, sink a little bit further in. Good. Inhale, back up. Keep an eye on that right knee. Exhale, sink. Inhale, straighten the arms. A couple more times. Last one, sinking down and coming up. Just to help adjust, go ahead and straighten the right leg, pull the toes toward you for our hamstring stretch. The right hand come back to the outside of the right leg if you'd like to. Good, and then we'll switch sides. Go ahead and rock forward, step the right foot back. Why not? Child's pose for a moment. And then inhale back up and step the left foot between the hands. Good. Now again, both hands come to the inside of the left foot. Keep an eye on this knee. If it wants to fall out, bring it back in. Definitely easier to demonstrate that on this side. Good. Now take a deep breath in, arms straight. With your exhale, bend the elbows and drop the chest down. Inhale, straighten the arms, look forward. Exhale, bend the elbows, feel the chest come down. Inhale, straighten the arms, and we'll do about 4 or 5 more. And last one. And then straightening the arms, carefully sweep, or sorry, keep the foot forward. Don't sweep yet. You're going to straighten the leg. Almost forgot. Hamstring stretch. Pull the toes towards you. Your hands can walk closer back towards your main body here. Good, and then go ahead and rock forward and then step the left foot back. Back on track. Child's pose. And then from child's pose, go ahead and slither down onto your abdomen. Good. Doing a little bit of work here on the belly. Have the hands underneath the shoulders, elbows bent. With your next inhale, roll the shoulders down the back, lift the heart, lift the head, Cobra Pose. Elbows stay bent here. Exhale, release down. And the pelvis is grounding. Lift the head, chest, and the legs this time, Locust Pose. Exhale, release. Cobra, lifting the head and chest, inhale. Exhale down. With the legs this time. Head, chest, and legs lift, locust pose. Exhale, release. Legs stay on the ground, cobra lift, head and chest. Exhale, release. Locust pose, so legs lift with you, inhale. And down, one more time for each posture. Cobra, inhale. And down. Locust pose, inhale, with the legs. And exhale, release down. Good. Please walk up onto your elbows, coming into a light sphinx, meaning we're not engaging it hard here because we're just using this as a transition, because I'd like us to stretch the quadriceps or the tops of the thighs. So go ahead and cross your right arm in front of you for stability to keep the chest lifting, and then bend your left knee, bring that heel closer to your hips. Reach back with the left hand and grab the base of your toes. So not the ankle, not the foot, not the toes, but the base of the toes. This gives you more of a continuous stretch throughout the entire leg. That's why we do that. Now, once you have that connection, you'll notice that your left hip is lifting off the ground. So with an exhale, roll that hip back down, and then begin to draw the heel closer to your hips. And breathe. Keeping the hip bone grounded. Breathing. Sometimes we don't like this pose, and that's okay. It's still important to stretch the quadriceps. Good. Now don't slingshot it. Just carefully release that foot down. And then we'll switch sides. So crossing your left arm in front of you. Go ahead and bend the right knee, bring the heel in. Reach back and grab hold of the base of the toes on this side. And with a big exhale, roll the left hip bone back down to the ground and then begin to guide the heel closer to your hips. Try to keep the chest lifting and keep breathing. You know, working asymmetrically, it's a good chance just to see where the asymmetries in the body are. This thigh might feel tighter than the first one. It might also not. It might feel more open. And we don't have to make meaning out of that. It's just a noticing. Staying for just a little bit longer. And again, don't slingshot it, just release that foot all the way down. Good. Now, before we come up to do more work, we're going to spend just a few breaths in crocodile pose. So starting with the feet, your feet will be about mat width apart, the inside arches resting on the ground, so the toes turn outward. This allows the pelvis to open up a bit more. And then with the upper body, you're going to cross your arms in front of you so the chest is lifting off the ground here. So it's not a face plant. The elbows are back further. So if you're looking at it on a straight plane, the elbows are maybe an inch or two forward of the shoulder joint. Good. And then once you have that, you can bring your head down onto the hands. I'm just going to breathe here for a little bit, feeling the breath move in the belly. And so with your inhale, feel the abdomen press into the floor. With your exhale, feel the abdomen relax away from the floor. Now, this exercise is one of the best to regulate your nervous system. So just surrender to any sense of calm that comes to you in this pose. Now, especially when we're coming down from high stress states or extended states of stress, sometimes that relief or that calm just feels like fatigue. And that's okay. If that's what it comes as, let it be that. Belly pressing into the floor, inhale. Feeling it relax away, exhale. Okay. So when you're ready, go ahead and take a deeper, fuller breath. And carefully bring the legs closer to one another and slide your hands back underneath your shoulders. When you're ready from here, go ahead and push up to hands and knees. You may need to walk the knees forward a few inches, but then sink back into child's pose. And breathe here for a moment or two. Good. So when you're ready, bringing yourself back up to hands and knees, and look forward toward me for just a moment. Just take a break. So the next pose I'm going to teach you is actually one I don't think I've taught this group in a very long time, if ever during the virtual situation that we do for this group. And it's called Frog Pose. And it's a really good hip stretch. I'll name that. And it's not always the most comfortable. So I want to show you how to do it, how you can be the most comfortable you can be in it, because we're going to be hanging out for it in it for a while. Okay. And while being like around a minute, minute and a half. Okay. So I'll show you what it is, and I'll show you how you can make some adjustments to make yourself more comfortable. So you are going to want to turn sideways on your mat for this. So you're going to want to sit kind of how I'm sitting, and you're going to want your hands off the front of your mat and your knees to still be on your mat. So if I'm kneeling here, my knees are still on the mat, because if not, it's going to be very uncomfortable. So from here, I'm just going to start to widen my knees as wide as they can go. Okay. And ideally, you won't be on the kneecap at all. You'll be on the sides of the knee here, and I'll give you an adjustment if that's not the case later. Now, I'm going to lean down just so you can see my legs, but my legs are going to come not so much out to the side, but just straight back from the knees. The inside arch is resting on the floor. Okay, so that's what's happening back there. All right, upper body. I'm going to bring my forearms down to the ground, stacking the elbow stacking under the shoulders, and then I'll just begin to glide my hips backwards. So it's like frog legs with the legs. And even the upper body kind of looks like a frog. And you're just hanging out here. As you glide the hips back, you're going to hit a wall, and you're just going to hang out at the wall. Now, if you need more support in this posture, you can do so with just your mat. One thing I love to do, if I need to, I'm on carpet, so I don't technically need this, but you can take your mat, the sides of it, and just double it up a few times to bring cushion underneath your knees. All right. So you may already be in the pose if you followed along, but I'm going to walk through the steps just one more time. If you're already there, just hang out. But again, you're going to come to the side of your mat and you're going to come into hands and knees with your knees on the mat. And then you'll start to slowly widen the knees, just being careful about that. And again, bringing the folded portion of the mat over if you need to. When you get to your widest point, you're going to bring the inside arches of your feet flat to the floor behind you, and the legs are kind of shooting straight out back from your knees. Then bring your elbows and forearms down to the floor, elbows underneath your shoulders, and you look kind of like a frog now. And just go ahead and glide your hips back as much as you can. Now it's tempting once you're in the pose to just collapse forward. I'm going to ask you not to do that. I'm going to ask you to keep the chest and hips on the same plane, parallel to the floor. And keep the hips gliding backwards. That's why we did all that work earlier in the hips, is to prepare for this. It's definitely a pose you don't want to come into without preparation. Now find your breath here. Again, this can be a pose that's less comfortable than some other ones we may have done before. And I really don't mean that to be facetious. It's just a really uncomfortable pose for many people. And it might even bring up some emotions. And your goal here is try to keep your nervous system relatively regulated. And so you may feel an impulse while we hold this pose to get out of it, to run from it. And that's your fight or flight response. It's the flight part of that. And our fight or flight response, the sympathetic nervous system, kicks in when we feel like we're in danger. So through some cognitive reframing, when you feel that tendency to run from this pose, you can check in with yourself and see that you're actually not in any danger. It's just uncomfortable. And with that knowledge, stay, because you can live through discomfort. There's no danger here. You may need to breathe more. You may need to relax your jaw. But stay. Stay. Breathe. We're going to stay for about 20 more seconds. Again, just breathe with it. Be here. Stay with it. Try not to dissociate. And my joke here for this post often is that at a certain point, you're not sure how to get out, even if you wanted to. So I will guide you through that process to be gentle, okay? The first thing you'll want to do is walk back up onto your hands. Then carefully bring the feet closer to one another so that you can slide the knees closer to one another. Go do that slowly. That's a tender one. Now you can keep facing the way you're facing, or if you want to turn on your mat, you can, but we're going to come right into child's pose. And know that as you sink into child's pose, that you're still with the sensation from that last exercise. So stay present with whatever that is for you. Still breathe. Good. When you're ready, go ahead and walk your hands back, coming up. Unroll your mat if you had it rolled up. Now we are going to do some counter posing for that, but just notice still what you're feeling. It's a deep, deep hip stretch. It's one of my favorites. It's the one that I hate to love or love to hate. And so we're going to come back onto our backs. And we'll do a little bit more work with bridge pose and a couple of twists before we come to rest for a bit more. Coming to lay down. Bring your feet flat to the floor, heels underneath the knees, prepping for bridge. And like before, the arms can stay down. We will go in and out of it a few times before we hold. So with your next inhale, go ahead and pick up the hips. And exhale, put them down. Good. Again, pick up the hips, inhale. And exhale down. Let's do 3 more times, okay? And as you come into the pose this final time, let's stay. Lift the hips, pressing the pelvis toward the ceiling. Press up a little higher. 3, 2, and 1. Release the hips down. Good. And then from where the feet are at right now, walk your feet further away from your body, about 6 inches, and take your feet as wide as your yoga mat. Your arms can rest out to the sides. Then with an inhale, drop the knees to the right. With the exhale, ground the lower back to the floor and bring the knees back to center. And then inhale, take the knees to the left. Exhale, ground the lower back, come back to center. Inhale to the right, and just keep going. Exhale to center, inhale to a side. Knees going from side to side, keeping the feet as wide apart as your yoga mat. And if you want to, you can work out some tension in the neck by turning your neck or head away from your knees. We haven't done really anything with the neck tonight, so if you want that, it's okay to throw it in here. Just a couple more times from side to side. And then as your knees go to the right, this time leave them there. Good. If the feet are still mat width apart, so if they're not, separate them now. And you can just hang out here if you'd like to. If you want to make this just a bit more, take it just a little bit further, you can take your right ankle, so identify the right ankle, and place it gently on top of your left knee. Right ankle on top of the left knee. And it's not so much pushing downwards, but tractioning the hip out of, or the femur head out of the hip socket. A little bit of length on that side. If none of that made sense or it doesn't feel comfortable, don't do it. Just come out of that adjustment. Now, if your right ankle is on top of the left knee, go ahead and release that now. Carefully bring the knees back to center and go to the other side, knees dropping to the left. Again, make sure the feet are about mat width apart. And now the same adjustment can be made on this side. In this case, your left ankle, the one on bottom, is going to rest on top of the right knee, kind of up toward the thigh a bit. Again, you only have to do that if you want to. All right, if the ankle is on top of the knee, go ahead and release. And then carefully bring the knees back up and hug them into your chest. And then our final pose before a resting posture, I'll ask you to bring the soles of the feet together and take the knees wide, holding onto the shins, ankles, or maybe even the pinky edge of the feet. Draw the feet in toward your belly. Reclined butterfly. All right, so when you feel completed here, go ahead and extend the legs down to the floor again and make yourself comfortable to rest here for a little bit. And then once you're on your back, ready to rest, I'd like you to make any additional adjustments to make yourself 10 to 15% more comfortable. So if you need to adjust a little bit, twitch a little bit, allow that to come out of your system now. And then feel your body come to a relative state of stillness. The only movement is the breath, rising and falling, ebbing and flowing, inhaling and exhaling. And as the breath rises and falls, I'd like you to be aware of the rise and fall of your abdomen. Relaxing the movement of your rib cage and chest, just feel the breath manifest in the belly. Inhale, feeling the navel lift. Exhale, feeling the navel fall. And as you watch this rise and fall of the abdomen, I'd like you to imagine it as a wave on the ocean, rising and falling like water. And I want you to imagine that your mind is a boat that rests on this wave, rising and falling, your consciousness, your awareness, riding the wave of the breath. Inhale, navel rises. Exhale, feel it fall. Peace. 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 Please begin to take a deeper, fuller breath. Once again, inviting gentle movement into your body, arms and feet, the hands and legs. And when you're ready, gently rolling to your right side, gently making your way up to a seat from here. So when you find yourself in a seat, go ahead and bring your palms together and lower the chin. And as always, honor yourself for the work you've done here tonight. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude for all of that effort. And may that effort and this practice continue to serve you. So until next time, namaste.